And I was really excited about that because he said he's a medium and he could probably talk and mind speak with the Squatch. And so I was really excited, and it was cold out. And so we were hitting the town hard because I wanted to hear what he had to say. And he proclaimed to be this medium, and he's a pretty good guy. And so as we were going around, we finally ended up finishing up about 3 in the morning. But we finished up there on in Camp Hard Knocks, and I'll talk a little bit about what Camp Hard Knocks is and its legacy. But we got done, and I sat down. Now this is a blooper, all right, Wayne? So I sat down, and I don't like to brag, you know. And I sat down and I said, well, guys, what'd you think? Everybody was a little tired, and they were sitting there, and well, we're done. Thank you, guys. Everybody was exchanging thank yous, and I get a little sarcastic, and I get a little carried away, I think. And I turned and I looked at them and I said, you know what? I said, I thank you guys. You guys are all non-athletic, and you guys got to hang with me for one night. And so they turned and looked at me, but before that, and I didn't tell this story, you watching me, Terry? When they first got here, I said, good guys, let's go over here. And we was by my brother Derek's house, and we were walking through this brush, and all of a sudden my foot got caught, and I fell hard. I landed in this bush, and they didn't laugh, which was a good thing, and they kindly helped me up. And then one of them threw it right back at me when I made that smart aleck comment. I said, man, I'm proud of you guys. You guys got to hang with me, and you're non-athletic. And they just got, oh, here's a guy who fell earlier in the moment we got here. So anyway, I was supposed to be funny here. I just don't have it today, I guess. Well, listen, let me share this. I know Scott's here. I'm glad he's here. I know he said he was bringing it. Let's give his girlfriend a nice round of applause. What's your last name?
Long.
Long? All right. Well, glad you're here. Glad you guys made it safely.
Well, you gotta tell them your actual full. It's actually Carrie Long Peters.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
Oh!
Are you serious, man?
Do we really want to go there?
Sue, turn that off. We don't want that on the page.
That's why they make that little beep sound.
Sue Long Peters, huh? I'll be darned. Boy, Roscoe sure turned around. We're at it. Well, listen, let me tell this story here. And we're very honored.
Can you bring it in close here and get a good look at that?
This here is pretty special to us. And the reason why we were going to do it during our expedition in May, and I don't mean to pat ourselves on the back, because believe me, we've been taught to stay humble and be humble, and we've taken those same God-centered principles and applied it to Rez Squatching Research, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But the reason why this was so special to us, and I should have brought all three, it was a gift from John Bindernagel, the late John Bindernagel. So we were saving this for the expedition, but if we could give 30 seconds of a moment of silence, we'll do it here at the meet and greet. So bear with me here. Everybody stand. He was a pioneer in the Bigfoot world, Dr. John Bindernagel. So if we could have 30 seconds of a moment of silence. Thank you. Aho. Appreciate that, you guys. Yeah. Aho. And I wanted to share this story here because who would have thought, two Omaha boys, who were young at one time and said, let's try this, and a challenge by my son. And today, after 10 years, I don't know what we've done, and I'm not even, gonna sit here and brag on myself, because I don't think there's time for that. You know, we're not in competition with nobody, you know. But I can tell you that I've said this, and me and Sam had a good discussion, and I think Rez Squatching is simply based upon respect and humility, and that's been what I call we cracked the code, and it's based on a spiritual perspective, a spiritual journey, and I thank my brother Derek here, and whatever we've done, you know, we're just going to remain humble. Am I right, brother? I hope. So anyway, I'll get back to this. I'll get off track here. This was a gift again from John Bindernagel, and I love the comment. And I'll probably do this again at our expedition. But he said, and it was really meaningful to me, and he said that this is a gift from me, Dr. Bindernagel, and he said that you boys, you Omaha boys, will probably bring forth the truth to this world, and he wanted to share this with us. This was a gift we received, again, from the late Dr. John Bindernagel, and he said, good luck to you guys. You guys will be the ones that bring forth the truth. I hope.
I hope.
Pass it around. Now again, that's very humbling, you know, and again, you know, I didn't know what to say about that, you know, his comment, but I'll take it, you know, and it's another testament to our hard work and the things we've learned, you know, while squatching.
Where did that come from?
From him directly. These are duplicates.
Where did he get it?
Oh.
Where did he take the sample?
Oh boy, it was somewhere, let's see if I can recollect, around British Columbia. This one was by a river, and there's 3 others. They all look a little different, but these are replicas or duplicates of his originals. Another gentleman who's on our page, who received the same thing. And so, anyway, that's the story behind that, and I wanted to share that today because I think, again, you know, Dr. Bindernagel, I've always been a fan of his, and for him to say that before he passed away was really inspiring, you know, to us. So I think, again, 2 little reservation boys, you know. As you pass that around, we'll continue on here. I think we gave that away. What else do we have there? Oh, we still got to go around the house. Hey, let's have Dennis come on up. Dennis Wilcox, who just joined us today. Come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself. And
I gotta go.
come on, Dennis. Oh, I see. Oh, my goodness. No wonder. I thought somebody was staring a hole through me. We'll get to her next. All right, let's give Dennis Wilcox a round of applause. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself and if he wants to share an encounter.
All right, this was not in the cards. I'm just saying.
They're awesome.
My interest, I've been really interested in the Sasquatch subject, I guess, since about 2012. I've been on several expeditions in Iowa. I met up with these guys in Iowa, Barry and Albie, who told us their story there, and I just couldn't wait to get over here. I mean, this is, I live here now. I lived in Iowa for 12 years.
I'm sorry.
Nebraska is my home. Now I'm back here. So some of the experiences I have, I'm an audio guy, so I have 5 recorders that I can put up anywhere, and I got one of them hanging on the post over there if you want to take a look at it. I'm an electronics guy, so I made my own microphones. I built a low pass filter in so I can filter out bug noise and frog noise, so I can pretty much record all year long. So that's my thing now. As far as experiences go, I've got some great recordings. I recorded a home run knock in Iowa 2 years ago, I believe. I got some whoops. I've had rocks thrown at me. I actually got hit by one rock. It was about the size of a dime. And then we had bigger rocks coming in. Those didn't hit us. So we saw that as playful interaction, not as aggression. So I'm really looking forward to getting over here and squatching with you guys as much as I can now that I live here nearby. So that's about it. I hate talking on the microphone, so thank you.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Dennis just joined the page about an hour ago and just showed up earlier, so we welcome you, Dennis. Again, we have some people join us here, latecomers, and I want to pick on this lady. You know, California ain't the SHIT bleep. And boy, she sure talks about California. I said, then show me a squatch from California. But anyway, Janelle Gonzalez Rodriguez, whoever, Mexican last name anyway. In there, she's got a different name every time she's on my page. I don't know who y'all married, relative, but come on up here.
Introduce yourself and why you got interest and why you love Rez Squatching.
All right. Well, my name is Janelle Morris Hernandez Gonzalez Rodriguez, and I don't know what else. No, I'm kidding. It's Janelle Morris Hernandez, and I got interested in Squatch research when my daughter went out to my sister's house to do laundry, and they heard like 3 of these people yelling around out in the woods by my sister's house. And my daughter said she got out of the car and she heard one like scream, and then she looked over at my niece who lives at this house, and my niece just like ran in the house and left her out there. So she's like, oh, I better hurry up and get in the house. And so after that, I became really curious, and I know I had heard that Barry was doing research, and so I talked to him a couple times, and I don't think he really thought I was really sincerely interested, because the first time I requested to be added to his Facebook page, I didn't get added. That was like a couple years ago. And then, you know, anytime I would
Mexicans, man.
get a spare moment, I'd be, you know, picking his brain about it. And I've been doing a lot of research, listening to a lot of people talk about their experiences. And I figured out that I've had probably about 4, unbeknownst to me, Squatch experiences, and I'll tell you about one of the first ones. I was probably about 4 years old, and
Where were you?
I was at home. We lived out in the country, and we just got some new neighbors. They lived probably like to that cabin. That's about where their house was. And my mom was. Did we just hear something else? My mom was beating. She was beating us our regalia, our dance regalia, and we would always go to sleep early, you know. So probably 7 o'clock we were in bed, and I heard something, and I got up. I just felt really scared, like a really dread feeling. So I got up and I went and I asked my mom. I'm like, "What is that?" And she said it was an owl, and I'm like, she's lying to me. This is not an owl. And it did it again, and I'm like, what is that? And she said, that's an owl. And I heard 3 of them. They were in different positions. And every night they would come and we would hear these like owls hooting. And there was always like 3 of them. And I remember one night, there was a banging at our door, you know, like a really, like, I don't know how to explain, just like somebody was upset about something. And so my mom went to the door, and it was our neighbors who were like the house behind us. And the young man said that one of these things tapped on their window. So at that time we thought it was an owl, but in doing my research, it's like, well, owls don't come and tap on your window, but Sasquatches do. And so Also, what I recall from that time period was hearing my adult relatives talk about. There was a lot of talk on the settlement, which is where my mom's tribe lives, and people were hearing something vocalizing, and they were trying to figure out what it was. Is it a bobcat? Is it this? Is it that? And that's the same time that we were having these owls come. And every time my little sister she was going through this period where she was just crying a lot, and every night that she would be crying is when those things would come. And, so in doing my research, I find out that they tend to be attracted to children. If they're making lots of noise, they want to come find out what's going on. And so I'm figuring that's why they kept coming to our house. And, they were vocalizing as, owls. So that was my first time where I didn't really know that that's what was happening. The next time we had something happen, there was a winter snowstorm, and it was the year when the St. Cyr family, they had a big boxing tournament, and my parents went to Winnebago to help support the St. Cyr family with their boxing tournament, and there was a big snowstorm, and so they couldn't make it home. And it was just my siblings and me that were out to our house, and the power went out. So we decided we were all going to sleep together in our parents' bedroom because they had the big bed, and then we could stay warm. And so we were sleeping in there, and something kept tapping at the window. And we kept thinking it was maybe like a bird or something. I don't know why, because it was just like a light tapping. We didn't look out the window. But I remember reading on his Rez Squatching Facebook page how, I think it was Joyce Morris was saying, one night she got home from track practice, and her younger siblings were at home playing in the basement, and there was one of these Sasquatch up near the carport, like crouched down, and she had to walk past it to get in the house. And so that's when I started to realize they really are very interested in our kids, and I think they know like when our parents are home and when they're not home. They know when the adults aren't there. So my next time we had a squatching experience we didn't know about was actually with Barry, and we were youngsters. We were in high school, and we were on the track team. And his brother said, "Hey, we're gonna go running this weekend up to Holy Fireplace," and he invited a lot of us track team members to go, and we went. It was Barry, Perry, Eddie, my sister Deneen, my sister Carrie, me, Gloria, and Denise Santacy, and I think there was a couple other guys. We went up there to Holy Fireplace, and so we're going to run down here to the silos. All right, so we start running, and these guys said they were going to come scare us when they got done. So we kept hearing things in the wood, like coming along with us, like like pacing us. And my cousin kept looking into the woods trying to see what it was, and she kind of one time caught a glimpse. There's something in there, but she couldn't see what it was. And we made it finally over here to the silos, and we were telling these guys, "Hey, did you guys run back and try to scare us?" And they're like, "No." So of course, now that he's done all this research and we know where they hang out, and we're like, well, okay, now this all makes sense to me. But yeah, I'm pretty interested in it. But I'm scared to go out and squatch with him like at night. He's invited me a number of times, and I'm like, I'm too big of a scaredy cat. I'm more of like I'm gonna safely research it like on the internet. I'm gonna listen to other people's stories, and I'm gonna find out how to recognize, their structures and stuff, so I can stay away from there, not to go in and find out more info. I'll let Barry do that.
All right. Thank you, Janelle. I went to school with Janelle, and that's all I did. I don't know what to say about her. No, Janelle was a good athlete. We kind of represented Omaha Nation when we were in high school, where there was a lot of pride I know I don't want to start talking about my basketball days now, but Omaha Nation was put on the map. Well, we were called Macy then, and we used to beat up on Wisner and Oakland, and yeah. Who else is here? Oh, it's not the Smil boys out of Snyder. I used to whoop on them boys.
Lions.
Lions, yeah. So Europeans didn't have nothing on this old boy. Hey, listen, I also want to make, again, I know I went around. I have a team called Native Dream, and I'm going to take 30 seconds here. We're a professional women's developmental team, and Richard Soul, my brother here, donated this to the team to raffle off today. So we'll go $2 a pop for this. This is I'm not sure how many inches this was, but this was taken last fall. Derek?
Is it the same as the other picture?
No, this is a completely different one. This was right in town.
In town?
Yeah, right in town, right outside our tribal building.
Whose foot?
That's mine.
Is that your foot?
Yeah, that's my
You got
foot.
what, about a 10?
Yeah, 10 and a half.
10 and a half?
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
That's a good 18 to 20 inch
yeah.
print, and the significant of this print too is the big toe is splayed out,
Yeah.
which is very classic Sasquatch Sitanga, having that splayed big toe out to the right there. So that's not a Homo sapien that has a big foot. That's a big foot.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shaquille O'Neal was here, wasn't he?
All right, we're going to continue on. Again, $2 a pop. Help Native Dream out, guys. We'll continue on with this gentleman. I got a good quick story on, and he so just happens to be the owner of Grant Designs. And should I do that hickey one, or you want me to leave that alone? All right, I might open the Ladies and gentlemen, the owner of Grant Designs, Mr. Roscoe Grant Sr. Let's give him a round of applause. I know his wife thinks he's a god, but... All right.
My check. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of RSRC. Did I get that right? RS? Yeah. Okay. I want to, first of all, tell you guys, I do believe in the Sitanga. I've had a few experiences with him myself. I told Barry this story. If you guys just look to your left on that high bank up there, the highest bank, they call that Big John's timber. I'm an avid hunter, deer hunter, and this incident happened about 10, 12 years ago. It was Thanksgiving Day. I just got done eating, and I was kind of pouting because I wanted to go hunting, but my wife cut me off that day. So I only had about an hour to hunt. She said, well, go hunt. Like I said, it was Thanksgiving Day, I was full, but off I went. And I only had about an hour to hunt. So I left in a hurry. I grabbed my backpack, I grabbed my 30-30. I had a 30-30 Marlin. Grabbed it, I had this little minivan. So anyway, off I went. In the middle of that hill, there's a shelf. They call it a shelf. It comes off the hill, flat, and it comes down. It's a travel corridor for deer. So anyway, I sit up on that shelf, looking to the northwest, overlooking that valley. Like I said, I only had about an hour left hunting. I found this tree. I leaned up, I sat up against it. I leaned my gun on it, and I realized I left my binoculars. So I was pissed. I was mad at myself. I left my binoculars. So I set the ground up, cleared the ground, so I didn't make any noise. Sat there. I didn't see anything, hear anything. And like I said, I only had a little bit of time to hunt. I heard some ruckus off of that north hill, and it was getting closer and closer. It's just like the timber came alive. Deer just come running at me. I must saw about 8 to 10 deer just running.
And you missed them all.
About eight to 10 deer coming at me, and they were just hauling ass. So I figured, all right, there's got to be another hunter up on that hill, or there's got to be dogs in there. So I grabbed my gun, I was ready. As the deer were coming through, I was picking them off one by one. Okay, that's a doe, that's a small buck, you know, so on and so on. And it got quiet. After all those deer left, it got quiet. And I heard more ruckus coming. And there was like 2 or 3 deer, they were stragglers. I don't know if they're young or sick or what, but they were straggling behind that group. So I pulled up my gun. I used the scope for binoculars, so I put up my scope, I started looking through there. And I seen something black on top of that hill. It was black and red. It had, kind of getting chills right now talking about it, but he was red. He had red around the chest, around the head area, in the inner thighs, and the outside he was black. And he was probably about 80 yards from me, and he was making a straight line coming straight down that hill. He was actually hunting these deer. And what was so weird about it, he didn't run like a human did. He didn't run. He had his arms down. And the weird thing was, he was grabbing a tree, pushed himself, took a couple more steps, and he came close to the last doe. It was a doe. The weird thing is, like I said, I had the binoculars, or not the binoculars, the scope, and I followed him down that hill. Adjusted my scope, put it on high power. And back in my mind, I was thinking, someone's got to be stupid to be wearing this costume in this timber during hunting season. Someone's got to be fucking stupid to wear that in here. I was just trying to make excuses for what I saw. But this thing had to have been 8 or 9 feet tall. And as the deer came down that hill into the creek, the deer passed. They came up on this embankment and passed me. My heart started pounding because I knew he had to come up. But as he ran, as I watched him through the scope, he entered that creek bottom. I jumped up, I had my gun, I was ready. My heart was pounding, I was scared. He never came up out of that creek. The deer passed, all 3 deer passed, but he didn't. So I grabbed my backpack. It started getting dark. I started realizing I gotta get my ass out of here. Put my backpack on. I walked out of there walking backwards. I was that scared. I had my gun loaded. He never came on that creek. It was like a bow. So even if he ran away from me, I would have seen him running up the hill away from me. Either in any direction, I would have saw him moving, but he never came on that creek. So like I said, I was scared. I was scared shitless. I walked backwards. And as soon as I got to the edge of that bluff, I hauled ass down that cliff, jumped in my minivan. I never hunted that timber again. That was like maybe 10, 12 years ago. I still never went in that timber. I have friends that hunt that. I never go back.